Yeah, first, thanks, Lucas, for having introduced the problem, because it was kind of challenge for me to. Yeah, it was kind of a challenge to introduce the problematic and expose the solutions. So now I can focus on the solutions that we provide at ZKNOX to this problem of the quantum threat on Ethereum. So I'm Renaud from ZKNOX. So some word about ZKNOX. We're a small venture company funded by Nicolas, one of Ledger co-founder, father of the Ledger Nano, myself, so ex-Ledger, ex-Thales, and Simon is our ZK researcher. Yeah, so our missions bring deep expertise and innovation to every challenge on the world security chain. So from on the wall chain, so from user end to on-chain. So mainly that's what I will talk about introducing our results on smart contracts, post-quantum smart contracts. So what is quantum apocalypse? So Lucas presented us all the stakes. So basically, we are very frightened about what will happen to our ETH or BTCs. But honestly, this is very small compared to what will happen in the real life if a quantum computer happen too quickly. Basically, all the economy will be down because there is no more e-commerce, no more authentication. So basically, the good news is, okay, people have been designing solutions. So in Ethereum, precisely, which components are at risk? So EOS, so basically you can scan the chain and having this quantum computer reverse all private keys. There is a consensus layer, so BLS signatures are aggregated at node level, and there is a data availability sampling, so the KZG commitments, and also I forgot to talk about the bundlers. Bundlers are also using EOAs to bundle. So our roadmap is to solve the first and second points. So good news, ARCR are rollback, so we already have finalists. They have been heavily scrutinized the last 10 years now. And some algorithms have been selected for their robustness. So the most efficient algorithms that we have are based on lattices. So looking at complexities, FALCON is one of the finalists with DILITHIUM. And for Ethereum and for the on-chain complexities, which are the more important, they have the smaller. This is the candidate with the smallest footprint. So FALCON appears as the most suited for on-chain complexities. It is known for its signer complexity of integration. Maybe this is not. This is why it wasn't cited by Lucas in the previous talk. But it also has pleasant feature. FALCON has a recover version. So this means that we could have some replacements of EC recover with functioning that would be very, very similar. And also for the hybridation we were talking about, it will be possible to have an hybrid candidate using FALCON, which is not possible with DILITHIUM or Sphinx. So at ZKNOX, we think about a progressive roadmap. We like progressive roadmaps in the Ethereum ecosystem. So our first step is just use account abstraction. So we have the IP 707002 and 4337 with full solidity implementation in the smart contract to begin to experiment from today. So from today, you can go to our GitHub, download the smart contracts, and begin to experiment with post-quantum resilient accounts. But it comes with a price. We will see a bit more about it later. So the second step would be to specify a RIP to have nodes executing the contract to reduce the gas cost. Then integrate it as EIP, and in the long term, what we want is to remove all the ECC-based EOA, because experimenting with 7702, at first you need an EOA, so if your account is post-quantum, but you can still use the whole EOA, in the end, it doesn't solve anything. So at some point, we will have to remove those. So at first, this experimentation, we have to make those on L2s because they are cheaper, and this is a roadmap for the verifier. On the signer side, okay, so this is very straightforward to have a hot wallet. You know, there are plenty available implementations of post-quantum NIST candidate, so it's kind of easy. For hardware wallets, it's also a challenge. We will see that there is some constraints that are important, mainly the RAM, and we will also see how to solve it. Okay, so straight to the results. So we implemented FALCON in Solidity. So this is what we obtained. At first, we implemented a fully NIST compliant version. So this is 7 million gas for one single signature. So this is very expensive. And this cost can be dramatically reduced by using friendly EVM version, which mainly is just replacing the hash function, which is checked in FALCON specification as well as in DILITHIUM, by Ketchak, which has its opcode. So what happens is that on the 7 million gas, 5 of them are spent hashing, and the rest is for the core operation. So the core operation of lattice candidates is entity. And entity basically is the algorithm that enables to multiply polynomial efficiently. This is also a tool that is used for stars, for instance. So this, this is a tool we will need for post-quantum signature, but also prover. So we'll have a word about a potential EIP later. Okay, so we implemented this EVM-friendly version. We also have the recover EVM-friendly version. Meanwhile, we found a way also to use some tricks that we use in ZK implementation. We have Epervier, which is a recover version, which is actually more compact. Looking at the code, because we don't need entity inversion. So that's an interesting trick to reduce complexity of at the code level. So everything has been yielded. So this is highly optimized. There existed a previous implementation by titration, which was 24 million. So we cut by 12 its cost. And honestly, I think we did quite a good job. And if you gain more than 10%, good luck to go more than 10% below that. So I think we have reached a limit there. Everything is yielded, and it's still expensive. So maybe it will be time to consider RIP if this is too expensive. And for exhaustive reasons, we also perform the DILITHIUM implementation. So here as well, we reduce the gas costs dramatically from previous implementations, and using a friendly EVM version. So here again, replacing check by Ketchak, we cut the gas cost by half, but DILITHIUM is still 3.5 more expensive to verify than FALCON. So this is also an interesting result for which candidates should we choose at a protocol level. Okay, so some conclusion. So this was kind of expected, but Falcon is nearly 4 times cheaper. It's very straightforward to implement the RIP node. Okay, just follow NIST recommendation. We also implemented a guest fork to have your Falcon precompiled. Okay. If you want to use Solidity, EVM-friendly versions are preferable. I think for interoperability, we should not fall into what we have done in the past, meaning having Ketchak while Ketchak is used, or using dedicated algorithm should not be done at RIP level. So the entity itself, maybe it could be standardized, and we make this proposition, EIP 7885, in order to reduce gas costs, because once entity is done, if you use Ketchak entity, gas cost is very, very cheap. Vectorization is very efficient to speed up the entity. So we had collaboration with the EVM Max team. So the expected gain should be around 80%. With our results, they are mixing the efficiency of their compiler, so they are even lower, but it's more related to the compiler than the vectorization itself. But there is also an whole EIP about SIMD, and it could be interesting to consider it. So in the end, EVM Max is more efficient than entity for the result, and it's very generic, but it's also harder to implement in core than a single block like entity. Okay, so that was for the on-chain part. Now looking at the signer constraints, so what we see is that Falcon, unfortunately, is very expensive in terms of RAM, and this is a problem for hardware wallets, because hardware wallets are very constrained, and this makes Falcon very non-trivial to integrate. So vendors should make their homework, because even if the constraint is high for hardware wallets, on-chain constraints should be prioritary over those considerations. But how to solve those RAM limitations? So this could be done using oblivious RAM. What is oblivious RAM? Oblivious RAM is using the host device, so the laptop or the smartphone, to extend the RAM of the wallets. So this requires, so basically the mechanism use confidentiality and integrity mechanism in the host memory to extend its RAM. So while it's a long-known mechanism, to my knowledge, no hardware wallet implements it now. And okay, we are experimenting on this, but it should be in the firmware to be really efficient. So an alternative is to wrap syscall of the EVM. Okay, so basically having an EVM of the wallet, of the hardware wallet, but better DX, but slower in the end at the signer level. So to conclude for the signer part, on-chain constraints should be prioritary. Ethereum should lead the decision, not the hardware limitations. So oblivious RAM could solve this, and this is something we are working on, and we expect to have result in the next quarter. Okay, so basically this solves the problem for just replacing the EOA, but there are other problems. So introducing a new RIP means it will be a nightmare for ZK EVM to prove it. So what we wanted to consider now is how to prove Falcon or DILITHIUM. It also have an impact if we want to have private payments, such as a post-quantum version of, for instance, Railgun or Zcash. So we need this, and also for the consensus layer, having a replacement for BLS. So batching, basically batching the signature with snarks and starks. So there is two different possibilities. So either tweaking FALCON and DILITHIUM to be easy to prove on some existing proving schemes, S2 for instance, or tweak the proving scheme to have efficient batching. And there are some initiatives like Labrador doing this. Okay, so basically the constraint we have if we want to prove FALCON and DILITHIUM is that they operate on non-native fields. So by non-native, it means this is not the field that is used by the proving system. And this requires emulation, and emulation in ZK is expensive. So our aim is how to introduce minimal tweaks, because we want to keep the validity of the security proof of the protocols, all the work that has been done by the community to prove FALCON and DILITHIUM resilience. Without, so we want to keep this, but to tweak it to have it easier to prove. So there are some obvious tweaks. So namely here as well, replacing the hash function by ZK-friendly hash functions will dramatically reduce this part. There are some hinting we can do, and it's what we've done with Epervier for easiest batch inversion, which is required inside FALCON algorithm. Another tweak is what we do is we multiply, and we don't have to reduce at each step, but accumulate the multiplication in the entity and reduce at the end. Sorry if this is Chinese for most of you. And now other tweaks is to modify the spec, so replacing the fields. This is not something as trivial as it can be for ECC. So this is not this trivial, but basically ECC, you pick random curves. If the order and the twisted row order is prime, you're happy, you have a safe curve. This is not the case with lattices. There are estimators, they are hard to tweak. For FALCON, we were not able to do it because there is an attack which is overstretching that will not make FALCON ZK friendly. Okay. But we were able to do it on DILITHIUM and with namely a 20% slowdown factor for the out circuit definition. Okay, so basically the conclusion, DILITHIUM is more ZK friendly than FALCON. And we are still in a very experimental phase. And this is very dependent on the proving scheme. So this means that for each proving scheme, we have to make a tweak and to reevaluate the security we obtain. So for now, we have investigating with Koala Beer, Baby Beer on M31. So, okay, so to conclude, so basically EOA migration is not theoretically difficult, okay? So we have some complexity problem, but integrating some precompile in the node or switching from ECDSA to a FALCON recover version, we'll do it. We proposed an EIP to integrate entity. It will reduce gal cost for those candidates, but it will also reduce the cost of the settlement of stack proof. There is still some efforts to do for hardware signers. For sure, vendors, they will lobby for DILITHIUM because it's very easy to implement DILITHIUM at the signer, in the signer side. And there is a question now, shall we tweak the proving scheme? So this is the way Labrador team, for instance, is choosing, or the signature algorithm. And we have no final word yet. So privacy and batching is still very experimental. And if you want to replace, to have private payment, it will also require to have tools which make easy stocks with private input available. And as today, it is quite easy to use CIRCOM or GNARC. it's quite more difficult to have a stack with private input. And okay, a last word. So there is a hackathon at the end of the week. So we would gladly collaborate or help to integrate those contracts for demonstrating things. And that's it.
Okay, thank you so much. We've got more than like 10 minutes for the questions. So if anyone has a question, can you pass them the mic?
Thank you, Renaud. Very interesting presentation. I have a question for you. How confident should we be, or how confident are you that the Ethereum ecosystem will embrace the post-quantum era?
I think I'm quite confident because it appears in purple color in the roadmap. So will it be the path or will it be hash-based solutions? I don't know. But so confident that this solution will be adopted. Not that much. Okay, there are quite a lot of discussions, but this is in the roadmap.
Can you talk a bit about the key sizes, because all those algorithms, both like FALCON and DILITHIUM, I saw like have like way larger key sizes than what we use now. Will that be a challenge?
Yep. So I think I provided the public key size. Yeah. So it depends how you use it. So talking about smart accounts, you just have to write it once. So that's not such a big constraint. Okay, so private key, that's the hardware problem, I would say. For the on-chain constraints, okay, it's here. So yeah, that's kind of for sure. That's kind of important, but if using an account, it means that you just pass the call data once, and once it is in your storage slot, it is written once and for all.
Another question: given we will have account abstraction and smart accounts, so basically every account will be able, in theory, or maybe in practice already, to select algorithm they want to use, like for signatures. Do you see like some kind of competition there, or like some, using multiple different algorithms in practice, or you think like that everyone will agree on one? And
as long as we are not working at a protocol level, the more choice we have in the implementation and the variety to experiment, the better it is. Yeah.
And the last one, you mentioned private payments.
Yep.
So with current ZK-based solutions like Railgun, is there a risk that post-quantum, like this data, like what we have now, will be somehow decrypted?
Oh yeah. For now, if you use it uses Groth 16, so this means that the attacker can settle any proof. So basically, but as we are for all EOS, we are wrecked.
So basically, in post-quantum world, like what we consider now is private, like all this data, like all those transactions in Railgun.
We need to switch from. Because right now, proof used by Railgun is a Groth 16. We need to use to switch to start with private inputs.
But I mean historical data, like what the transactions that are happening right now, because they're using like pre-quantum algorithms. So this data, like if someone just collects and post-quantum, will they be able to retroactively
break the anonymity? Yes, yeah, for sure, because everything is encrypted with there is also a viewing key. So the viewing key is broken if you have post-quantum algorithm. So anonymity is broken with the quantum computer for Railgun or Zcash, or because. Yeah, just the viewing key is extracted. The private key related to the viewing key is extracted.
Hello again. So my question is, as a blockchain engineer, we want to make blockchains and gas costs lower for making the people more achievable to reach out to more people. But with that gas cost you mentioned and the complexities, I don't think that it's going to be achievable in short times. So what is your aim to achieve less gas costs for using different kind of hash algorithms or any different path that you will like to choose?
Yeah, gas cost is only related to the number of opcodes we have to use, but if we use a precompile, the gas cost then becomes just a direct relation with the CPU cycles, and actually Falcon CPU cycles is equivalent to ECDSA. So there is a high footprint, but for the computation, it's kind of equivalent. There are large benchmarks. One of them is Supercop. If you look at Supercop benchmark, FALCON, DILITHIUM, ECDSA, it's kind of equivalent. So this means that we should have a gas cost around 4,000 gas like we have for EC recover. So it's adopting a precompile. We'll just reduce the gas cost to something we have already.
Okay, thank you so much. Another round of applause for Renaud.